Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow on Global, we are having the new stage release for Super Battle Road. Well, I say tomorrow, it's tonight if you're in the US. It will be after the maintenance ends. So this happens every now and then when we have these maintenances in this sort of time slot where the events should all technically drop at 10:30 p.m. PST on the Monday, which is 6:30 a.m. on the Tuesday for me. But the maintenance doesn't actually end until midnight PST. So about an hour and a half after the events normally come out. As long as the maintenance doesn't get extended, that's when it will end. And then obviously the game will be back up with all of the new stuff, which obviously includes the Gohan and Trunks banner. There'll be a video talking about that a little bit later on. But yeah, we get the new stage for Super Battle Road, which is Joined Forces. This one should be pretty interesting. So we're going to go over the team building guide for this one. As always with my team building guides, we have a look at the category, go over some of the top picks and honourable mentions. If there's any units you think I missed out or that I should have talked more about, let me know down below in the comment section. And if you do find this guide helpful at all, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So obviously, there's quite a lot of leaders. There's a lot of possibilities for making teams under various categories and stuff like that. So obviously, the starting leader we have as the general join forces across the board lead is the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. They give join forces 3 key and 150 stats across the board. This unit is actually really good for Super Battle Road. I feel like they get underrated quite a bit, but Super Battle Road is one of the places that they can be very useful. They greatly raise their defense on either of their super attacks, so they're not really a slot 1 unit, but post super attack their defense is actually very good. They also lower attack on both of their supers as well, so of course very good in Super Battle Road, which is, you know, one of the main places that effect is actually very useful. And then the more rainbow orbs you pick up, the more additional normal attacks they get. And of course, the more additional normal attacks you do, the more likely you are to proc your additional super attack from the hidden potential system. And then of course, that's going to give them double defense raise as well as double attack lower on the enemy. They have an active skill that can be used when your HP is 50% or less, so there's no turn restriction, which means in Super Battle Road you could go into the second or third fight on low health and use it straight away. You got to be careful with it though, because it does give them a big defense debuff, but it gives them an extra 70% attack and they get the full guaranteed 24 key as well. So if you're going into a fight and there's a slot where there's no attacks, you could put them there, use the active skill, and then they're going to do a lot of damage on turn 1. So there's a lot of Tournament of Power units in here. Thanks to all the units we got from the 6th anniversary, you can pretty much make like a full reps of Universe 17. So obviously that is one of the options. We do have this unit as well, the Part 2 LR from the 6th anniversary, the Golden Frieza and Android 17. They are a joined forces lead for 3 key and 150 as well. This unit is pretty wonky. A lot of people put this LR pretty low on their overall like tier list. Their links are a bit weird, but of course if you are running any of the other Tournament of Power LRs, you're obviously going to be able to get a few links active with them. They're not terrible for Super Battle Road. They do lower attack on their 18 key super. Unfortunately, they're one of those annoying units that they give themselves damage reduction 7% with each attack performed within the turn, so then it resets, which is kind of annoying, but they're still pretty decent. Once you've performed 4 or more super attacks, which, I mean, in Super Battle Road, you're probably not going to see this, because if you have them on turn 1, you'd have to double super both turns, and then you'd be able to use it on turn 5. It gives them key and extra defense, so if you do ever get to use it, it's going to be pretty useful. But these guys are probably only really a last resort leader, or if you are just running pretty much a full Universe Survival Saga build and you want another unit that can link up well with the rest of the team. So next up we also have the AGLR Kailyn Caulifla. They were the original LR Joined Forces lead. They have 4 key but only 130 across the board to stats, so slightly lower. They do infinitely stack defense on all of their supers. Now, they do get the guaranteed additional super when there is a Universe Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemy. So if we look at the actual list of the enemies, there's a Pure Saiyan in all 3 fights, and then of course the last one is Pure Saiyans and Universe Survival Saga. So they are actually going to be able to get a ton of additional super attacks. So they definitely can be useful. The only problem with them, of course, is they are really designed for longer events with the infinite stacking. So on like turn 1, for example, in Super Battle Road, they're not going to be as good defensively. But once they've got a couple of attacks off, they're obviously going to be very good, because not only do they build up defense, but they also build up the dodge chance as well. So we also have the non-LR version of Kailyn Caulifla that came out on Global at the end of last year. With their leader skill, you can obviously run a lot of these units as well, and they of course work really well on a rotation together. They can be alright for Super Battle Road, but they suffer from the same sort of issue where they are more designed for longer form events. They can fuse into Kefla, which does give you a heal, but you can only do that on turn 6, and a lot of the time Super Battle Road fights are not going to last that long, especially because this is normal Super Battle Road, not extreme Super Battle Road, so the enemies don't have quite as much HP. But if you do manage to get to turn 6, you could potentially stall out the fight, leave the last enemy like stunned, sealed, whatever, get to turn 6 so you can fuse and get a heal and then finish them off. But yeah, they can work reasonably well, but they're probably not a top pick. Next up we have the LR God Goku and Hit. You can actually make a team out of their leader skill as well, because obviously there are so many Universe Survival Saga units on here, and they have 4 key and 150 to stats. So if you want to run a full team that works under their leader skill, they have one of the better leads, because they have the 150 and the 4 key. So they are very, very good. The only downside, of course, is their best link partner is the Tech Hit, who's obviously a solo unit, so not on joined forces, but they still have some of these other links that a few of the Tournament of Power LRs have, so they will work reasonably well on the team. They have a high chance to stun on both of their super attacks, so obviously that is very, very good for Super Battle Road. And then they have a chance to dodge in slot 1 or 2, and then a chance to additional in slot 3. So if you have them as a floating unit, especially if there's only like one enemy attacking in the 3rd slot, you can target that enemy, get the additional super, gives you a couple of chances to stun so that they don't take any damage. So they can definitely be very useful. They are one of the higher rated yellow coin LRs, so very, very good. And very good team build if you build around their leader skill. So next up we also have the Krillin and Gohan. So they have a rapid growth lead, which does incorporate a bunch of the like Universe 6 Saiyans. They would fit under the Tech Kailyn Caulifla lead as well. They can be pretty good. They raise attack and defense on both their super attacks. They do have a built-in chance to dodge. They get extra key per orb, so it's quite easy to get their 18 key super. And then they do have a built-in chance to additional super if you can get to 24 key, which they have an active skill that gives them 24 key. And you can use that on turn 3. And then once they've attacked super attacked 4 or more times, they transform into the battle armor. And then that actually gives you the ability to use the active skill again. So if you are going to use them, make sure you use the active skill on turn 3. Then if you do get to the point where they transform, you'll be able to use the active skill again straight away on that turn, which gives them the full 24 key. So definitely can be very useful. They're probably not a top pick because of how heavily weighted towards Universe Survival Saga like this team build can be, but they can be very good, and they do fit on the teams of some of the units that we've talked about already. Their links are just going to be a bit weird compared to some of the rest of the units, but I mean, they have Kamehameha, they have Legendary Power, Shocky Speed, Fist Battle. They're going to have some links that they will share with the other units, and they can be pretty useful. So next up we have 2 of the probably top tier picks if you are running just a normal join forces lead, or you can actually build a team around them. There are enough units on these categories, I believe. I'm not sure about Gogeta, actually. I'd have to double check, but it's probably not going to be the best team, so you can build a team around their leader skills. But obviously if you are just running a general joined forces unit, not only are these 2 units incredibly good, but of course in their untransformed state they have the exact same link set, so they're going to link up incredibly well. And then once you get to turn 4, you can obviously fuse with one or both, get the heal, get the scouter effect, and then of course once they are actually fused, then the units are even more powerful offensively, and you're probably going to be able to finish off the fight in that 4th turn. So these two very, very powerful units. They're only going to fit under the actual joined forces lead, depending on how you build your team. But if you're not going for a universe survival saga type build, then these guys are obviously very, very powerful options. Next up, we have the LR Sailman 1 and 2. They're a free-to-play unit, so they're a good option. They are a super types support unit. They are actually on Majin Buu Saga, so of course that's the unit that is on the STR Vegeta lead. They raise defense on both of their super attacks. They can seal on their 12 key, or they buff allies' attack by 30% for 2 turns on their 18 key. So even if you're using them as a 3rd slot floating unit, they're still buffing the attack of the units on the next turn. So that actually can be very good. So they are a very, very solid unit. Next up, we have a couple of the androids. So you can actually make a full androids team build. Whilst they're a bit outdated, the physical LR androids, who I haven't brought the page up for them, they don't really... I guess they could be an honourable mention, but they are quite outdated now, especially defensively. But it would be possible to make a full androids team, but the tech androids obviously are very, very good because of their active skill. When there's only one enemy or when there's 3 or more enemies, you can use their active skill, which is basically a ghost usher. And when we look back at the stage, the first and last fight, you'll be able to use their active skill straight away. So that gives you a very, very strong first turn. And then in the second fight, Vegeta's AGL, so you could focus on getting rid of him as quickly as possible and then use the active skill to shut down Trunks. So they're going to be very, very good. We talked about this when the androids were coming out, and I talked about whether or not it was worth summoning for them. The next couple of Super Battle Road stages that come out, and obviously this is one of them, they are really, really good in. So not only are they super good, but of course the unit that came out with them is also a joined forces unit who will be giving them a massive amount of support. There's a lot of enemies on this stage as well that do Ki Blast super attacks. Roshi does. I think Kid Goku's one counts because it starts off with the bending Kamehameha. I'm not sure about Demon King Piccolo. And then both Trunks and Vegeta do. And I'm pretty sure all of the Universe 6 ones do as well. So they're going to be very, very powerful here because the androids can't take damage at all from key-based super attacks. And then Jiro and 19 absorb them. So you're actually going to heal from attempted Ki Blast super attacks at them as well. So, I mean, this rotation is obviously going to be very, very powerful. Then, of course, we have the Easy A for the free-to-play LR androids. They are basically just the extreme version of Saiyaman 1 and 2. So they're providing a nice buff to extreme class allies. They raise defense on both of their supers. They also lower attack on both of their supers. So very, very good utility for Super Battle Road. Next up, we have the Gotenks and Ghost. Very good unit for Super Battle Road because they have the chance to stun on Super, 50% chance. Greatly raises defense on Super. Heals with Rainbow Orbs, which he creates. So definitely very, very good. He is on time limit, so that is one of the categories for the Tech Gogeta. But probably best used if you are just running a joined forces general build. But if you are, obviously that gives you access to every unit in the category. So it does give you a lot more options. And this guy is really, really good for Super Battle Road. Next up, we have the Supreme Kai and Kibito. Again, really good for Super Battle Road. They have a built-in 50% chance to dodge. They heal you at the start of the turn. And then they have a chance to stun on their super, which also greatly raises defense. And you can use their active skill at any time, starting from the first turn, to fuse into Kibito Kai, where you get a guaranteed one-time stun, and then after that, his super attack seals. So I actually used him in a few of the older, like, ESBR stages, just not fusing them. He's really, really good, right? That 50% chance to dodge, chance to stun, very, very good. Next up, we have both of the GT dual units from the Golden Week celebration. So we have Goten and Trunks, and then the Goten and Gohan. Even if you're not running like other GT heroes or like Hybrid Saiyans, well, I guess it's, yeah, Goku family and Vegeta family. These units are really good. After they super attack, they have really, really good defense. So honestly, they're worth bringing on the team, potentially even as like third slot floating units or whatever. Even if you don't really have units on the team that they're going to be supporting, they still are really, really good, especially, like I say, after they get off a couple of supers. defense is very, very good. So I think these guys are worth including on the team if you need to fill that final slot. Like I say, even if you don't have a lot of units from the categories that they support. So next up we have the AGL Trunks and Mai. Now, these guys can be really good for Super Battle Road. They're a little bit older, so they're not the best overall with stats, but they greatly raise defense on super attack. They get a decent amount of attack and defense. This 3 key and an additional attack and defense when there is an ally whose name includes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. That will include the LR. So if you're using these guys as the lead, then obviously you can get that extra buff from Trunks and Mai. Unfortunately, there aren't future Saga enemies or a Zamasu or Goku Black, but all that gives you is extra attack. And then they have an active skill. You have to have another ally whose name includes Trunks Teen, Trunks Future, or Mai Future attacking in the same turn. So a unit that I didn't actually mention in these because his banner is going to be coming out at the same time. If you do pull the future Gohan and Trunks, then obviously you could use them together. Otherwise, you have the STR Trunks and Mai. I didn't include them as an honorable mention because you don't fight any Future Saga units, so they don't have their built-in dodge chance, which, unfortunately, without that, until they get an easy A, they're not going to be very good defensively. So, unfortunately, it's actually going to be quite difficult to have access to their active skill, but if you are able to get it, especially like if you do pull the new LR, it does damage and stuns the enemy automatically for the turn. It cuts their defense, but you can obviously try and get them into a slot where they're only being attacked by the one enemy and then use the active skill on them so that they're stunned. So a bit more difficult to get depending on how you build the team, but they can be an option, so they're worth a mention at least. And then last but not least, we have the Android 8 and Android 17 unit. This unit was pretty much instrumental, I think, in the strategy that I used for beating the Androids Extreme Super Battle Road. No items run. These guys are really, really good. They guard for 8 turns, which is pretty much never going to run out in Super Battle Road. When you're slightly lower on HP, they do have damage reduction as well, which is nice. They can stun on super attack, which is pretty good. And of course, they are another Android unit. So as I said, you can basically build like a full Androids team. So going back to join forces, obviously there are a lot of LRs. Like you've got the Barbady and Dabura, as well as the Barbady and Boo that go well together. Both are free-to-play units. You got the LR Broly trio. They're not going to fit super well on the team, but if you can get 7 orbs with them, they obviously have a 100% chance to dodge, so that can be very useful. The 3-year LRs, if you can stall out till turn 6, they can give you the full heal, which can be very, very good. We got units like the Reps of Universe 7 unit. They're going to be really good if you are building a team around Universe Survival Saga, but they have to be geared very much towards just Reps of Universe 7, so a little bit harder to make that, but that team obviously not that difficult to make because there's free-to-play options like the Roshi and Tien, as well as the 18 and Krillin, and then obviously the summonable ones as well, the Gohan and Piccolo and the Gohan and Golden Frieza. Not the best units overall. I mean, Gohan and Piccolo are okay. The Roshi and Tien are pretty good for supporting that team as well, if you want to build like the Reps of Universe 7 style build. And then, yeah, even down to LRs, like you've got the 14 and 15. They don't have their Easy A yet on Global, though, so probably not all that great. The Goten and Trunks are pretty good, but they don't have a lot of options for the units that you would want to run with them to get their full passive, so didn't really mention them. And then Trunks and Zamasu, Gowasu and Zamasu can be pretty useful because they seal, have built-in dodge, but if they don't dodge, they're an older unit now. Their defense is not very good. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of options here. I feel like the Universe Survival Saga team build is probably going to be one of the stronger ones. But let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Because Join Forces is a category that has had a lot of units released for it. So there are definitely a lot of options. So let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Like I said at the start, if you think there's any units I should have gone into a lot more detail about, let me know down below in the comment section. And let me know what your team build is going to look like for this stage. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.